Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a special bonus video. I was reached out to from Raphael Weinroth-Browne to check out one of his recent compositions. Put a music video together for it. Raphael is the cellist for a band we've checked out in the past, which was The Visit. He's also the cellist for Musk Ox, and he's toured with Leprous. I've kind of followed him a bit ever since listening to The Offering, and yeah, I was just that was such an emotional track for me. It really hit, and I've listened to some of his stuff. Today we're gonna check out one of his new music videos. It's a live playthrough from a song called From Above. So let's get to that. I'm pretty excited about this. Um, I saw down here in the description, says conceptually From Above is about seeing one's life from afar and understanding it at a distance as opposed to from within. I see this objectivity as a bird's eye view. From this vantage point, we see our lives with greater perspective and are equally reminded of how small we actually are and what our place is in the grand scheme of things. So, it's a pretty heavy topic. Let's get into this and see how that was interpreted. Lots of tension. Beautiful warmth to the tone, and some of that just extra tension being pulled in from the lower, more the sound floor. It's providing sort of a haunting feeling to all of this. But I like that note. There's a lot of clarity in that. I like this idea of stacking lines too. I don't know if that was just the idea of wanting to loop this or if that came from the overarching themes, but there's a lot of really cool thematic ideas that are coming here because of the looping idea, doing everything live with one instrument. harsh tone too, especially against all the really nice long bowed parts. I like these elements of beauty interwoven into more of the hectic rhythmic aspects. Yeah, just layering on those harmonies. Yeah, just yeah, marvelous stuff right there. I'm pretty sure that's the end. Just got some credits here. I'm gonna let the credits play. It's 5 seconds, right? Let's see some of these names that worked on this to give us such amazing art. All right, so yeah, all right. I mentioned a little bit through there that I thought there was some really interesting synergies going on between some of the byproduct of having a looped song and the thematic elements of what the song means and how it the themes that are presented and represented through the music. So man, it's just I don't know how much of this was intentional. Like I said, how much is just a byproduct of doing a live looped song. But we have a single instrument, the cello. It's the only voice throughout this entire song. There are a few different ways. We have some finger picking. We have some bow striking. I don't know if there's a name for hitting the strings with the bow, and then we have the actual bowing across the strings. Um, and then we had some body hitting to get that. I think it was like the fourth or fifth line added to get that bassy thumping going on. Um, so, but it was all done with a single instrument. And I think it's interesting because the concept of this is viewing a single life, from a perspective outside of the lived experience. Um, so we have a single voice representing a single life. And no matter how many layers we add to it, no matter how many different styles of creating music, creating sound out of this cello, it's still this singular idea representing a singular idea. There's just such great synergy in that idea alone. But the other interesting thing is how the song continuously gets layered. And aside from the second half of the song, the first half tends to kind of sit around a lot of similar ideas, and I don't think we removed, or I don't think he removed, very many layers while he was building. And I think at one point there was 5, 6, 7 layers, I believe, maybe. Like I said, maybe some were removed and I just didn't notice it. But it's just so cool because the thing is, you can't erase the past. Everything that has been done will continue to be the foundation of the present and everything that will be done. Um, and that idea kind of gets swept away in the middle when we cut pretty much everything from the beginning out and and he starts from scratch with just I think it starts with that first line he recorded, the very staccato uh, uh, stick hitting part. Well, I wish I knew the name for the technique of hitting the strings with the bow rather than actually bowing them. But yeah, that rhythm seemed to stick around through the entire song, which is just another cool way of bringing this idea of the past not being erased completely. There's always going to be those parts of you that you cannot get rid of. They are attached to you from the beginning to the end. From the day you're born to the day you die, those are the experiences that stick with you and form who you are and your story. Um, so yeah, there's just so many really cool things. Um, I also really liked the back and forth between tension um, and melody. And I know those two typically don't get contrasted, but bear with me here. There are several layers that get recorded that I would put into an atmospheric area. They're recorded, they're added to the song to provide atmosphere or tension or texture. And then we have the elements that are more in line with melody writing, and they're sort of these long, drawn out notes and just interweaving, real nice legato stuff going on there as well. Um, and we have this nice movement between notes. There are a few legato sections at the beginning that are not in the melody camp. They would be more in the texture camp, and it's because they are dyads or maybe triads. Couldn't really tell. They're just very wide, but the cello also just has a very wide voice to it. So it could be that they were just two notes rather than three. But yeah, just these really tense note relationships. And I think it's really interesting how we move from the beginning, which is almost all rhythmic, all tension, all atmosphere. Then we put these nice moving melody lines on top of that. And it's just this constant back and forth. Are we adding texture or are we adding melody? And it creates this idea of a narrative, a story, if you will, where there's lulls, which could be sort of the mundane or the triumphant parts of this person's life, and then there's the harsher elements that are more rhythmic oriented, or not even just rhythmic oriented, but more chaotically rhythmic oriented, thanks to the time signature, which I haven't gone to yet, but it's in 7/4, which is just shy of being normal. Standard time is 4/4. 7/4 means we have a bar of 4/4 and a bar of 3/4, um, which means we have standard time and then just cut short of standard time, and we repeat this back and forth. So there's almost this idea following into the time signature of moments of stability brushed up against moments of instability. Um, and like I said, that idea goes into the music as well. We have these highly rhythmic and uh, sort of tense sections followed by just these beautiful melody lines and the back and forth there. And I think this is exemplified best in the final 2-ish minutes, 3 minutes, I guess. It's the last half of the song when we really introduce a lot more of these dissonant aspects, like whatever that crunchy noise was when he was doing the rhythmic bowing in the lower end. It just looked like regular bowing to me, but it had this nice crunchiness to it. I'm not sure if that was added digitally with one of the stomp pedals or if there is a physical technique to achieve that. but it added this real harsh crunch underneath and alongside a lot of the other music, and then he would octave jump that and play the same rhythm a little bit higher without that crunch, and it's just this beautiful dichotomy between the tense, which would be, some of the harsher elements of life, and then these beautiful higher aspects that would be more of the mundanity or happy moments, anything that just wasn't overall a negative experience. Um, and it's compressed down into, from a life down to just 6 minutes. And instead of kind of jumping back and forth between these two, we see them interwoven. And there's moments where one idea stands out a little more than the other, but it's still this idea that if you're going to compress an entire a lifetime down into a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of that time, you're going to get a jarbled mess. So instead of seeing these distinct elements, they just kind of get interwoven. You don't really know which is which. And that goes into the idea of the bird's eye view, seeing the life from outside the experience, um, from outside space, which would be, actually being in the body, but also outside time, which is just a really interesting concept. And this all just comes from the fact that it was looped, and these are some of the limitations of looped music, is that you have to layer it one by one. You don't have to use a single voice, but as a cellist, I mean, that's what happens when you're just exceptional at a single instrument. I don't know if I don't know if he plays any other instruments, but I've seen him play the cello very well. If you're going to write cello music, you're going to stick with the cello, so we get a single voice, um, and it's part of the way that live looped music works, and a lot of those limitations bleed into the thematic elements in just highly synergistic ways. And like I said at the beginning, I don't know if any of this was intentional, if he saw these connections and went for it, or if maybe it was a subconscious thing, but it works so well with the format. I just it kind of boggles my mind just how well the idea of this bird's eye perspective on a lifetime works within the context of looped music like this. Um, the ending was also really cool too because it became more chaotic and dangerous sounding, and some sort of impending doom. And that's another interesting thing because from the idea of being a bird's eye perspective, is that operating outside of time and space, you can see that this lifetime is coming to an end. You can feel that impending doom. You know that what you are watching is finite and you know the end point, but the person doesn't. And it's this interesting sort of what is that? There's this there's a type of irony when the audience is privy to knowledge that the actor isn't. Um, and I can't think of what that irony is called off the top of my head, but this kind of fits within that, where the person, the bird's eye view, the higher being, if you will, knows that this life is coming to an end, but the person living doesn't. Um, and so once again, we can hear a bit of that impending danger, the tension ramping up there at the end, but there's still little moments of positivity woven in there, and some of that could just be the oblivious nature of the person living to the end of their life. And it's just, uh, yeah, it's just so many really cool things lining up here that fit in with this theme. Um, yeah, just I love it. This is just a wonderful piece. And it's really cool having the author's, the composer's intent written out. This is something that I would love for more bands, composers, artists, whatever, to do. And the thing is, when you go to a museum and you're looking at the art, a lot of the times there is a plaque or something nearby to tell you the artist. Um, the name of the piece, and usually a little bit about it, some of the artist's words. And it's something that we just don't get with music. And it's something that I kind of wish would change because I think artist intent is really important, regardless of the concept of the death of the author. So yeah, it's just really cool to have this information put right here for me to kind of look into and see where they were coming from. Because I've mentioned before, I listen to these songs and I kind of give my perspective about what I get out of it, the feelings and thoughts that are that crop up in my brain when I listen to this music. And I say, hey, if anybody has an interview of these people and they've told what the song is to them, I'd like to hear about it because it is important to me to kind of see a little bit of it is just it's kind of cool to see how close me as a listener, my experience lines up with theirs as a writer, but also it could provide a different point of view from what I've listened, and that point of view might help me appreciate it more or something like that. So yeah, I really appreciate Raphael going ahead and putting 3 paragraphs in his description about the song, the concept, where the musical ideas came from, and it's just cool to see that kind of stuff. So yeah, those are my thoughts on From Above. By Raphael Weinroth-Browne. This where you guys come in, though, hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not, anything that stuck out to you, anything that bounced off of you. And I will put a link to Raphael's Bandcamp as well because this album, it's phenomenal. It's got to be. It's got to be phenomenal. I've checked out his last album. Or was it? I don't remember. Yeah, so I checked out most of this album before. But he's got a new one coming out. I don't remember, man. I could have sworn I saw something about a new album coming out, and I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was just misunderstanding something. But anyways, yeah, he writes fantastic music. Oh, you know what it was? It was Musk Ox. That's what it was. I was on Musk Ox's Bandcamp. Um, yeah, just phenomenal work. I'm going to put his Bandcamp in the description if anybody wants to check out more of his works. I highly suggest it. He has just a beautiful musical mind. So, all right, when you're done commenting, head up to the description box. You can check out the Linktree link, which has everything critical reactions that you could want in there if you want to join the Discord or support us on Patreon or follow me on Twitter. All those links are there. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, starting with special selections. Yeah. Oh man, I lose track of days. I really do. We'll be doing special selections tomorrow, so pretty excited about that. And we'll have another bonus video coming up this weekend. It'll be the first song I check out for Pride Month. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. I know the month is already, golly, like half over. Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, this month went away. But I'm going to try to get 3 or 4 at least. They're all going to be randomly selected. If I don't get to yours, I apologize. But honestly, there is a huge response to my call for LGBTQ artists and songs and bands. And there's just no way I could have gotten to all of the suggestions. So maybe I'll put a playlist together so people can check that out with all the suggestions in it. All right, until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.